What is this cabinet? It is very, very heavy, mostly metal, and has removable shelves, double doors. The inner doors are glass, controls, and some input and output areas. I know it is laboratory equipment, but I can't find anything about its purpose or manufacturer. I got this cabinet from a friend of mine a few years ago. It belonged at some point in time to NCSU, SALS, which I believe used to stand for the School of Agricultural and Life Sciences. I want to do something with it, but I don't know what or how to best proceed without knowing what it is. I think it could be a very old-school autoclave, but none of what comes up when I search for that matches this. Any ideas? It's an early 20th century oil incubator, made by the Will Corporation in Rochester, New York, circa 1920. It was mainly used in bacteriology and medical laboratories to incubate cultures of microorganisms, blood samples, or other biological materials that needed controlled warmth to grow or react. Before electricity was widespread, heating methods had to rely on oil or gas. The lamp was placed in a chamber below or inside the unit. The heat rose into the insulated box and warmed the interior. I just want to point out that with the color and patterning on the side of the box, it looks to have exposed panels of asbestos cement sheet. It's not harmful if intact, just don't cut or sand it, and you'll be fine. What is this heavy iron with different length rods, a plastic cap, and a loop my dog found and chewed? Maybe 3 inches tall, with several metal wires that get longer and shorter, and all blunt. They're attached to what seems to be iron, but not particularly magnetic. I'm just wondering if anyone has a clue. It's an old toy chime, a jangly noisemaker from inside a toy. The loose metal piece bounces off the bars and they chime. It was patented on November 25, 1975 by Joel Schatz for the Knickerbocker Toy Company of Middlesex, New Jersey. What is this enameled container meant to hang on the wall, found in Australia? Around 21 centimeters tall, it has a diameter at the widest part of 13.5 centimeters. It has a bottom spout, and on the back, which is the flat side, there's an aperture clearly indicating that this thing hung on the wall or some vertical surface. It was among one of my older relatives' things, so it could harken from the early 1900s to about 1960 or thereabouts. My grandmother's home had a wall-mounted gas hot water heater in the bathroom, but I never recalled seeing this small container, so it may actually be unrelated to a domestic house item. I'm unable to find anything specific on the net using Google reverse image search. Any ideas as to what this might be? It's an enameled enema can, used to administer liquid into the rectum before disposable rubber syringes and modern equipment became common. They were widely used in homes, physicians' offices, and hospitals from the 18th century through the early 20th century. The can was filled with the chosen solution, like water, medicinal decoctions, soapy water, etc. The nozzle and tubing were attached, lubricated, and gently inserted. Gravity then delivered the liquid. I found this about 4 feet deep while digging a water line, and it looks like it has bullet holes in it. I'm located around Pocono Heights in Pennsylvania for a job with my uncle. He dug these up and asked me to figure out what they were. Any idea what these could be? These are metal signs from an old gas station. Tydol was a gasoline brand introduced in the 1920s by Tidewater Oil Company in the United States, with a strong presence on the East Coast. It was a major brand through the 1950s, until the company merged into what became Getty Oil. The Tydol name was gradually phased out in the late 1950s and early 1960s, with most stations rebranded as Flying A or later Getty. What is this cast metal object with a monogram and words? It weighs 266 grams. It looks like it's meant to hang, and there are 2 bucket-like claws hanging from the bottom. One side has the words strength, vigor, and power. The other side has health, vim, and pep. I found it while thrifting today. The cashier's guess was some sort of scale attachment. I'm stumped. Any help, idea, or clue is appreciated. It's part of an exercise device made by the Health Developing Apparatus Company out of New York, circa 1905. Unfortunately, I can't find a picture of how the system works, but the claws would have attached to elastic straps to provide resistance. And the piece marked gym set is a footrest with buckled bands that would have secured it to the user's feet. My dad found this in the basement of his house, and he thinks it's maybe some sort of lock. It's cast iron, and it says on the front, patented July 4th, 1899. It looks like a rabbit trap without the spring clamp part, or maybe part of a mouse trap mechanism, or an old scale part. What do y'all think? It's the hanger for a wall-hung clothes drying rack. The keyholes are for securing it to a wall, and the hook is for securing the missing wooden dryer arms. The arms section can be folded down flat when not in use. It was patented on July 4th, 1899 by Josiah J. Pelton for the Gem Manufacturing Company of Miles Grove, Pennsylvania. What is this thing I found in an old house? It's really old, and I guess the patent says February 1st or January 2nd, 1916. The guy who lived in the house it was found in previously was a firefighter, a real old guy. Does anyone have any knowledge on this tool? It's an antique ladder extension lock. It allows the movable section to be slid up, then latched to an upper rung. To lower it, you simply raise the movable section until the little flipper on the left allows the mechanism to bypass rungs on the way down. I used to work for the phone company, and I've been up and down an extension ladder literally thousands of times. It was patented on February 1st, 1916 by William George Beatty of Fergus, Ontario, Canada. What is this heavy steel or iron around 20 inches long? It looks like the bottom part might have been able to rotate or pivot at some point. It looks like a quick latch kind of thing. The top loop makes me think it may have been hung vertically, but I could be wrong about that. Can anyone give some insight? It's an antique sucker rod elevator for oil field pumps or windmill pumps. It's a tool to connect and pull sucker rods from a shallow water or gas and oil well. It was patented on February 28, 1893 by Cyrus S. Honor of Harmony, Pennsylvania. What is this cast iron thing I found under a house in town in Newfoundland, Canada? The two flared ends are threaded on, so probably meant to rotate, and the bottom point is also threaded, maybe for adding tension. It's about 14 inches tall, and it was found under a house built in 1920. A friend suggested it's an anchor plate, but the house it was found underneath has no bricks, just wood and siding. Can anyone help identify this? Please let us know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.